Breaking news, ladies and gentlemen. Did I not tell you the retards were here? Bitcoin has just touched 58,000 American dollars, which is a $1,000 pump from earlier when I told you that it breached 57,000 American dollars. This is fantastic to see. I have written in capital letters here for you as well, my friends. Alt season euphoria awaits us. What do we do now? This is beautiful. As I reminded you, friends, I just got to tell you once again, yes, I am wearing the astronaut hat. Yes, I do acknowledge this is complete top signal stuff. We know, friends, 6 green monthly candles. Did I not tell you, friends? The most ferocious candles happen at the very, very end. Look at this, man. This is nuts. You see how wildly big this is? So you could say top. Yeah, it's top, but how long are you going to wait for it to crash? You know, then that crash, friends, we're going to have a big fat alt season. We could. We don't know. We just don't know, man. It's possible Bitcoin resets and the alts don't move. That's why, friends, I don't want to try lead us to one area where I'm like, well, I definitely know what's going on. And then you end up getting it wrong completely. You don't want that, okay? Because then people say, well, if you have no idea what's going on, therefore something's different. And then people just exit. You never, ever want that, okay? I'm here to look out for the most number of people. Now, 58,000 American dollars is the, once again, strongest pre-halvening rally. Oh my God, minus 15% from the all-time high. If we were repeating previous Bitcoin halvenings, and there were 3 of them, if we're repeating them, it'd be between 35 to 40,000 American dollars. So we have absolutely crushed that price expectation. But friends, let's dig deeper. What's a dirty little secret that nobody's telling you? Look at this chart. You see on the red here, friends, this is the orange line is the number of people's Bitcoin addresses with more than 10 Bitcoin. You see how it goes down here as the Bitcoin price goes up? Well, look what it's happening again. It's going down here as the Bitcoin price goes up. Basically, in a nutshell, this cohort of people, they're able to time the top pretty good. They time the top well. They're actually distributing right now. And I found that very fascinating because I was like, wait a minute. I haven't seen that in the news. All I've been seeing in the news is that we're going to the moon. Well, here's the funny part. We are at the moon. So that's why, friends, I told you so many times, okay, in the bear market, I said, yes, us bulls look stupid. We smell stupid. All right, I get it. However, historically, the dumbest bull crushes the smartest bear because you just stay long. There's just too much US dollars out there. There's too much fiat money printing. There's too many people want to get in. It is what it is, all right? So I think it's also wonderful that even though this plays out, friends, we are still getting these massive price pumps. So the last thing you and me ever want to see is we don't want to see a top signal where everything basically just capitulates right after that moment. You never want to see that. That is a small window to exit. We don't actually like enjoying that. What I want to see is us being able to read where Bitcoin is right now in its life stage, right? It's tech cycle. So it is in late stage tech cycle. It's more maturing. It's rounding off. That's its chart patterns now. But, you know, it's interesting that these addresses, right? You get to see them, friends. They were able to sell the top successfully. But look how still long it took. See, you know, when they started selling, they sold it down here. Look, it still had a big rally here, still distributed for 3 to 4 months. So that's how long these things can take. It's going to take 3 to 4 months. It used to take much smaller time, but now Bitcoin's much thicker and has bigger market cap and liquidity. There's bigger players that come in. I also want to show you the 4-year cycle, friends, right? I think it's fascinating because it's crazy. We're actually running ahead of schedule. Isn't that wild? That's where we are right now. We're actually running ahead of schedule. You know, this was one of my friends. You remember, you were here. I had one of these scenarios. Now, if you're new, I understand. You weren't with us in the bear market buying these dirt cheap prices across everything. Again, I know you're going to miss out. However, we're not here to be right. We're here to make money. We draw these scenarios up so that if they appear, we know what they mean. We know what to do. So Bitcoin running ahead of schedule was never in our, we are going for a super cycle case. All right. I believed that if Bitcoin had a very strong 2024 finish, not start, finish. If we finished Bitcoin 2024 super strong, it might mean we're running ahead of schedule, or the exit liquidity, emotional money, instead of coming in 2025, they're now brought forward. We get a more exhilarating euphoric pump, and we don't know what that's exactly going to look like. But one of my theories is like a double bubble alt season. That's why, friends, you are very, very welcome. Thank you for liking, subscribing, belly button on all. I'm here to put these concepts here to you because if you don't know these, if you're not skeptical like me, whenever you see these things, you think, oh my gosh, it's going better than expected. Therefore, I better hold longer than expected. Incorrect. That's not what you want. Not, we're going better than expected. Okay, no. It's, we're going better than expected, friends. The people who win, they're like, that's interesting. We're getting too greedy too fast. We are not done with the pain part of the past if you fractal it out. Okay, we should be in pain longer, but we're not. Something's happening here. If you look at the 4-year fractal, okay, we are literally ahead of schedule here. Now, interesting though, if we just go sideways, we're actually in line. But this is where, friends, this is actually, it's funny where blockchain backer, for example, here is going to have the actual most important part, because right here, friends, the US Fed's going to cut rates. Do we continue rising or do we crash by the end of the year? That's going to be the crazy part after they cut rates. We don't know. I'm going to measure it by a number of factors, and you are too. You're going to know, man. You're going to know. The most devastating crashes, they are, before them, you get euphoria, literal euphoria. But then you got to be honest with yourself, okay? Like, are the altcoins, you see, friends, if all the altcoins do a 4x from here, you know, Chainlink's already on its way, but let's say Pulsechain, PulseX, or any of these other coins, let's say they do another 2, 3, 4x, okay? Not Solana, things that have already pumped. All right, you got to look at your number though. Let's say they do a 4x. Yes, 4x isn't 30x. It's not a giant number, but in the context of previous alt seasons and the context of previous Bitcoin halvening years, a 4x from here for all these coins is euphoric. That's never ever before done, ever. So I'm just concerned if we do get that. Obviously, concerned. What do you mean concerned making money? Yeah, friends, concerned because these types of things, you get so much weak hands in that you need to unfortunately rinse them out. But we're not there yet. We have to see, right? Altcoins, they've done their move. We haven't got into the super heated part yet. Although we just had paid launchpad, friends. My gosh, filling out Ether games in literally 15 seconds. Everything explodes. Like, everybody is coming in for these. So we're going to see how long this takes. This is beautiful if this happens, by the way. Wouldn't this be nuts if this actually goes? Like, how is this happening? How is this happening? That's great. We're not going to argue with it. But I think when it comes time to be concerned, I think it's going to be very obvious. Because, look, I'm just going to show you in Bitcoin cycle, friends. Also, like, let's just actually advance stuff. I've made videos on this in 2023, right? When I was, it was just when I wasn't on camera. But crypto markets and fractals, right? All these multiple dimensions and timelines and all these Fibonacci stuff. Okay, so they're all interrelated. Okay, we do fractals of leaves, fractals of this time stuff. I know it's crazy, friends. I didn't believe it at the start. I'm like, oh, you sound like a cuckoo head. I'm telling you now. Now, one thing I noticed was when I dug into Bitcoin's chart for each cycle, I wanted to look at each cycle and basically I wanted to sniff it. I wanted to lick it. I want to put my nose close up to its ear and caress it. And what I discovered was in Bitcoin's cycles, along the way, it keeps repeating itself. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to see, is there a pattern that could kind of help me identify what the top is going to look like? And it actually is. There actually is, friends. Bitcoin, it repeats certain parts of itself in its cycle up to the top. And that's like your clue that something is changing at the very, very end. Now, this is where it gets very subjective and we get very woo-woo astrology. I mean, it is astrology pretty much, friends. We're drawing squiggly lines on the chart. But I am just feeling that because Bitcoin, now you were here, right, during Happy season, because Bitcoin up here, it does this rounded little top and then comes back down, breaks the high and then rounds again. You see that? That's like a very, very safe pattern. You see that? I think that might be what it looks like at its highs up here. I don't think we're going to see a straight vertical up or down just because of how it's going. Now, this is beautiful for you and me. It's very unfortunate for everybody else because at the top, no one's going to see any danger. They're just going to see a nice rounded top again. But here's the thing. They're going to see other meme coins, right? Like another new Peppy and a new Poopy and a new Monkey JPEG, these types of things, all these exuberance happening, and no one's gonna be worried because they're like, oh sweet, the prices are moving that much. But we know this from the last cycle. because Bitcoin's maturity is increasing, friends, up here, because Bitcoin is rounding off, you can't just look at Bitcoin and try to time the cycle. Okay, that's why I introduced this to you and I showed you this is actually super important. Bitcoin and others. Okay, Bitcoin and the altcoin index. That's what I want to see, where the divergence is. So this is beautiful. That's actually the chart right here. I just had the stock market one before. Now, let's bring it up closely. You see how Bitcoin's going up, friends? This is what you want to see. Bitcoin is going up still. And this really, friends, this is going to be huge once this distributes. Huge. Bitcoin is like literally within its 2021 high. That is, yes. Do it, baby. That's what we want. You know, friends, Bitcoin at 2021 high, it doesn't mean every altcoin goes back to its 2021 high this year. But for example, things like Hex are 20x below their all-time high. So just doing a 10x from here is huge. And you're doing half the damage recovery. Half the damage, all right? So Bitcoin going up here is absolutely enormous. Now, look where others are, by the way. Others, like we have so far to go. If others matched Bitcoin, that would be up here, which is a 400 billion market cap. That's 150 billion. Remember, that is non-Ethereum, non-stable coins. That's actual real altcoins, like the real juicy, hardcore altcoins. That's exactly what we want. That's how big the potential is. Remember, I told you, Bitcoin going up here is a giant slingshot. So where would we be concerned? This is why, friends, so I did not know this long time ago. I would be concerned, like, oh, we're going to drop any second now. I don't know what's happening. So when do you get concerned? So remember, the bull moves end when you run out of buyers. How do you know you've run out of buyers? You know you've run out of buyers once they get really, really bored and now they're buying absolute filthy junk. Now, we used to see this with like really concrete examples in poo-poo land, friends. In poo-poo land and altcoins and stuff, okay? So, but now it's a bit harder. It's a bit harder. Bitcoin rounds off and the poo-poo land seasons, they last long, man. It's like 2.5 months. There's 50,000 alt signals. Now, here's the thing. You think, okay, well, even if you sold March, April, or May of 2021, you do fine. Of course you do fine. However, look, man, I'm just going to tell you, friends, you're going to miss out on some ballistic stuff at the end and you're going to have to just accept it. Come Rocket launches in May, 17 days later, goes to 400 million market cap. Does 170x in 17 days in May, the last month. So you're thinking you're missing out, but actually the faster the stuff happens and the faster it starts paying lottery tickets, it's like a feature, friends. The feature on the slot machine, once it starts hitting, bang, bang, win, win, win. Once you start seeing all these wins, and you don't think of them as wins, people get FOMO. They're like, people are winning over here, no over here, no over here. And then they just get fried. And that's actually basically when you run out of buyers. So what we're actually looking for is, the beautiful part is they're both rising together. You see, Bitcoin goes up, altcoins go up. We are waiting for this to stop, come back down, which eventually will. We don't know where it will. This come back down. And then the next move is going to be critical, friends. Because I'll tell you right now, if Bitcoin breaks 57K, oh, we better, in that alt season, like, it's going to be freaking huge in that next run. That's eventually when it does stop. Why is it important here? Because if it does do this move up here, that's a higher high. Okay, so it can do a lower high or it can do a higher high. Okay, these are very, very important. If it does a higher high, oh my gosh, altcoins are gonna they're already gonna fly, but we're gonna see the biggest alt seasons of our lives if that happens. Okay, it's very, very unlikely like that happens this early though. Just letting you know. But if we have a lower high, in this lower high, friends, you see this recovery part up. This altcoin, at the very end, it does not do a lower high. It will go, woo! We'll probably see something like that. That's what we'll see. And this is actually exit time, but no one's going to believe it. Everyone says we're just catching up. We're just getting started. So what I've shown you is a divergence, friends. It's like actually showing you the actual, like, the real difference between, okay, when is it like healthy money pricing in and when are the poopy McPoopers coming in? That's the most important part. And actually, baby dolls, as we're recording, you know, Bitcoin almost hit $59,000 right now. Look at that. It's at 58,500. These are freaking huge moves. Now, here's the funny part. The percentages are tiny, but when you look at them in the context of everything else, what I told you, it's a slingshot. The slingshot's still loading. It's still loading. Okay, this is what we want. This is... Oh, I can't believe my prophecy came true pretty much. This is what I've been talking about. Spencer spoke about this last year. I've been telling you, we go back, I told you, look, here's the thing. There's still time. There's still time for you to get in. I told you, baby dolls. Actually, let's get the big monthly chart, the big macro monthly chart. I said in each alt season, let's actually go back to the start. The alt season of 2012 happened in the last month in 2013. That's actually the Bitcoin halvening here. Then in 2017, it moves to the earliest about 6 months after the halvening. So this is 12 months after the halvening. This is 6 months after the halvening. Okay, so it's getting shorter. And then we noticed this only happened around the halvening, which was DeFi season. This is DeFi season, friends. And then what did I notice? I go, well, wait a minute. It seems like the market participants, they are front running each cycle's altcoins because the market is getting more mature and smart each time. Yeah, the gains are diminishing. Why are the gains diminishing? Because we keep bringing forward demand. The slingshot for the whole cycle doesn't last 4 years to the last month anymore. It's lasting like 3.5 years and then 3 years and then 2.5 years. You get what I mean? Now, this is where we are today. So, see, friends, we've never had an alt season before or on Bitcoin halvening before. You want to know, this was exactly when alt season was basically peaked. It was July to August of 2020. That was Ample Fourth. That was Compound, Chainlink peaked there. Ivan Tech and all the DeFi shows. Uniswap was starting to do the airdrop, the sushi things. That's what it was. Remember, that's a few months after the Bitcoin halving. That's like 4 months. But now, look what the vertical line is. That's actually happening right here. So you see Bitcoin up here, friends. We could find, this is crazy, yeah, February. So even if the next month, which is March, is red, we'll probably see, hey, altcoins start flushing up and stuff. We get to see some what we call a season. Now, it's just wonderful that you have a friend who's literally the only person in crypto who ever even conceived of this, because this has never ever happened before, by the way. Never happened before. A lot of people said, well, I forget it, I'm out in the Bitcoin halvening. That's why, friends, it took so much balls, hairy, sweaty balls, for me to tell you, hey, I know Bitcoin's the only bear market hedge. I know that 3 out of 3 times, but I'm noticing a pattern and no one else has been able to see it right now. This is true alpha. You actually got to accumulate altcoins earlier than any other cycle before in crypto, because traditionally, friends, the time to buy altcoins is only when Bitcoin breaks the all-time high. You know that. That's what the old formula used to be. It used to be stay in Bitcoin, wait till it breaks the all-time high, and then deploy. But I knew from all my research, like, man, there's absolutely no way everybody in here is waiting for Bitcoin to break the all-time high. Because I was asking you and your friends, do you want to buy a $30,000 or $40,000 coin, $50,000 coin, the unit buys, all these things going? You know that the gains are diminishing. Now you have the ETF and all these things showing that it's slowing down. Okay, so that's beautiful to see. So it does mean, however, friends, the chances of my dark prophecy are actually increasing. That, I know it's crazy. Yes, that's actually what it means. It means that we can get a big alt season here, and then we get the final alt season in 12 months after the Bitcoin halvening. That's pretty much what it means. So it doesn't mean like we get all of us lose or anything. No. It means you still win. It just means people who were real believers in crypto. Because, friends, what I tell you is, man, the real believers, we're holding all the altcoins. Okay, these things go down 99%, trash, everyone's a scam, has no evidence of recovering here and there. But what did I tell you? I told you. Meet Kevin and Jeremy Lafufu saying that Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only legit things in crypto and everything else is a scam. And I noticed out there, I said, man, I have to go against the crowd here. I'm sorry, it just sounds so obvious. It's funny, friends, you're learning from this, right? It just makes too much sense that Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only legit things and everything else is a scam. So it can't be right. Remember, now you're leveling up, friends, okay? Now you're leveling up. So where do we go from here? Well, now you just wait for Bitcoin to settle. I know we're just cheering for higher numbers. You don't know. Everyone's saying breaking all-time high, etc. It doesn't really matter. It's outside of your control. Just know that, look, with a big move this size, it probably means, I hope, the alt season, it might have like this double leg within this little double bubble. Where that first leg is everyone's like, it's getting stupid now. It's really stupid. You should exit. And that might be, for example, May. Or maybe the end of April, just guessing. Maybe the end of April. But then the US Fed cuts rates and you have like a 2 to 3 week burst where maybe all of May is like the actual final finish of the move. And then you top out like the beginning of June. And then maybe because we've gone so much, even though we've topped out in May or June at the beginning of the month when they cut rates, there's like residual scams. So I just want to show you this. This is something you really got to know, friends. Yearn and stuff had launched and obviously pumped, but you know this September candle here? So DeFi actually peaked in August of 2020, and then this one was red. However, September 2020, the month after the peak, there were still scams launching and they were going a bit fast here and there. So they'd launch, they'd pop here and there. It's just basically the residual, the buyers had ended in terms of like, buying DeFi and the demand and stuff, even though everything started going down. Think of this like altcoins that launched in January and February of 2022, like Cult DAO, for example, and Shaman Inu. They actually go up, but the rest of the market's going down. But if you look at them, you're like, oh, there's still money to be made. And that's why you got to remember, when you run out of buyers, friends, it's not like net zero. It's a wave. So you might have like 100,000 buyers, and then 200,000, and then 500,000, and then 1 million. And then it goes down to 700,000, 300,000. 300,000, 200,000, 100,000. You know, when you're at 300,000, you're like, oh, it's no longer a million anymore, but it's still going 200, 200, 100. These are the net buyers of the system. And then that's how you know it's fading around. You never really know, but I'm just trying to help you to gauge these things. So just giving you an idea of what's possible here and there. Remember, the higher this Bitcoin price has gone, that's pretty much told you it's go time for these. Although anything can happen at any moment. Okay, you definitely don't want to be selling your altcoins a bit early in this. To me, with the Bitcoin price this high, I think anybody thinking of selling altcoins before you see like stupid signs, you might be shooting yourself in the foot, okay? Make sure you like, subscribe, bell button, or catch you very soon.